everybody, this is Al Spath on Positive Poker Insiders. Today we are going to be over at 888 Poker with Leon from over in the UK. You'll notice that he is right down here on your starred player. He'll be sitting in just a minute. It's a 10-cent, 20-cent game. And I hope everybody is with us today on this great Wednesday hump day, as they say in America, middle of the week. How are you doing, Leon?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing just great.
Good.
Now, I don't know how good they can see everything. I'm hoping that it's streaming extremely well for them. What have you been doing lately, and how have you been doing lately? And just fill us in.
So I've been able to do about six hours a day, split between playing and studying. I watch your videos. I've joined a few training sites. I'm going to stick to one training site, but I joined a few to see what they were like. I've also been watching Poker School online, the Langoliers videos, and I've been playing at this sort of stake, mostly on this site. Done badly at the start of the month because I'd been playing mainly tournaments and came back over to cash. It was quite a big change, and I lost quite a bit at the start of the month. But as of yesterday, I'm now back in profit again.
Well, that's good. That's good. The Langolier, that's Dave Romer. He's the lead instructor there, and he streams here on Positive Poker Insiders. He's the Lango for anybody that wants to follow the Lango. So you're in your first hand here.
Yep, easy one.
So this site is American money. It's not euros or anything like that. It's 10 cent, 50. It's dollars, right?
Yeah.
So what have you been struggling with during this time that you went negative? First, let's just talk about that. What was going wrong?
I think that I didn't take the hint when someone was making a big bet, say on the turn or the river, without having a history of bluffs. I would be too married to, say, a top pair, and I would stick with it too long and get myself in trouble. And one of the books I'm reading, which is The Course by Ed Miller, the second rule is that at the lower stakes, if there's a big bet on the turn or the river, it's probably best to assume they've got it unless you've got reason to think otherwise, and get out of the way.
Very good. Okay.
After my HUD stats have come up, so if they interfere with the recording,
no, they're fine. Every now and then I'll probably, maybe one thing might cover a player or something like that, and I'll just ask you what that is so you can clarify it.
Okay.
But as the bets go around, other than a call, if somebody raises, just to be clear, in case people like myself are having a tougher time, because I'm watching this on Skype and it's smaller, and I can't see what his bet amount was there. So say he raised to whatever it is.
He's raised to 70 cents.
Okay, that's very helpful to me. And I noticed that you have these little bulls and you have these rocks. I guess the bulls, the strong player, the rocks are the tight players, and maybe there's a fish icon that you can put up as well.
Yeah, fish. I put the fish icon up for the passive type of fish. Someone who limps a lot, and are mainly calling stations. If there was a maniac at the table, he'd have a little donkey sign next to him. The rock is for the tight player. The bull is for someone that I think is a regular and a good player. Occasionally, there's a shark for someone that is what I think is a player that gives me a real problem. And depending on where they're sat at the table, if they're on my left, for example, I might just move tables.
Well, that's good. Rob is looking for a new place to play, and I don't know if he can get to 888, but tell him what you think about the site in the short time you've been there, and any bonuses or rake back or anything that he should be aware of.
Well, I've been here for about a year on and off. They did have a different bonus system which they've just changed. For recreational players, I think it's fine. Apparently, some higher stakes grinders have got a problem because it works out less rate back for them. Um, but it's based on gold coins and levels now. So if you get to say like if you start off maybe level 50, if you get to level 51, you get another 190 gold coins, and then you can cash the gold coins in for tournament tickets, rake back. Lots of different things like that. So it's okay, but it's not the best reward system.
Was there a deposit bonus?
Yes, it was a long time ago though, so I can't remember exactly how good it was.
Okay.
But the players here are very soft compared to Poker Stars. It's like a different world. Um, even when I first started to play, I did quite well at this site. Whereas when I first started to play at Poker Stars, I was quite shocked at how much better they are.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to a couple of people this week, and they said the smaller sites seem to have some softer tables. Even Rob Gag, who's in here right now, and Posse 1972 would agree with me that Full Flush is pretty much a soft area, although the traffic has been down. We're going to try to build that up a little bit here. We're going to try to get some more traffic in here. By the way, there is an affiliate now that people can sign up on an account called PPI, which is Positive Poker Insiders. That's Jerry is the affiliate on that, and if you use PPI, you'll be under that group, and you'll get all the benefits that come along with that. But some of the things that they're offering over at Full Flush, 100% up to $1,000 on the deposit bonus. There's a 5,000 high 9 p.m. daily event. They got a new mobile app for poker on the move.
Do they actually pay now?
Huh?
Do they actually pay out?
Well,
now?
that's the thing that we're trying to see is if they're going to pay out the people that have been put there. And I told the gentleman I'm not an affiliate. I'm never going to be that affiliate again. But Jerry, he plays like 20, 30 tables at a time, and he's going to be an affiliate. We're going to see if he can help build some traffic up there. They did add some late registration for tournaments, which is good. And I see a 2,500 Saturday Night Fever guarantee at 5 p.m. on Saturday. So they got some good events. They just got to get some people in there, and they got to get the payouts straightened out, both to affiliates. I understand affiliates before weren't getting paid as well. So these are key issues that they need to iron out. But if they do, it's not a bad site to play on. But they gotta be able to. Got to be able to withdraw as easy as you are to deposit.
Yeah, and they've got to be honest as well. I mean, I
Yes.
spent 3.5 to 4 months talking to them every single day, getting promise after promise about when they was going to be paying out, and every single time it was a lie.
Did you get your money?
After 4 months, yeah.
4
And it was
months.
only that it was the day that I decided to pull a bluff, and I threatened them with legal action because I was so sick of their lies, and I was so sick of the fact that they spammed me almost every day or two with some grand offer of a tournament, but they couldn't even find enough money to pay out.
Yeah.
Something
Well,
that a competent site might be able to do in like 2 minutes.
right. It's not, it's not good business to not pay your people that are depositing and playing and things like that. And that's probably why traffic is low. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to get better on payouts because I asked them today to tell me what the deal is on the payouts, and I'm waiting for a response back, and I'll put that in my next video as soon as I get a response back from them. So I put them on the hot seat. I told them if you want me to mention your site, which I said I would do today for Jerry, but I'm not going to promote something that doesn't play its players. That's key. You haven't had one good hand to play yet.
I know. I was going to say I'm having quite an easy time.
But that's okay. That's okay. We need to look at what other people are doing and stuff like that. We're just talking right now. But in some cases, you're not going to get the cards to play, and you're just going to have to sit. Sometimes it's a bad seat, sometimes it's just the way it goes. But again, when somebody raises here, go ahead and tell me what the raise is, and tell me what you think their range of hands are, okay, from their position.
Okay, well, this guy Neld has just raised 60 cents. He's a good player. I think that he would do that with quite strong hands, ace key, ace queen, ace jack,
See that
or
check
sort of
just then?
yeah.
That check was a give up. He just gave up on that hand. He continuation bet. He c bet, and then he gave up on it. Now he's going to try another thing here. Now he could very well take that away. He thought maybe by checking he'd get to induce that guy to bet, and he would bluff him off. He may have nothing there. I don't know. But normally you have a calling station. You keep betting into him. You don't usually set him up for a check raise.
Now this person who's just bet 60 cents, they're a very tight player.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 71,000 hands on them, and they've only raised 11%. So you have to assume that they've got something, especially from that position.
How would you get 71,000? Do you data mine?
I used to, yeah.
So you just turned it on and let it go.
No. I used to subscribe to a site which produced which kept logs of every hand that was played on 888.
Oh my
And
god.
every day I'd log in and they'd send me like 20, 30,000 hands. I've got the highest I've got myself is probably about 30,000. And because I was playing about 30,000 hands a month last year. But 71,000 is again with the same player is probably from the data thing.
Well, that's interesting that you said that you played that many hands last year or this past year. I think, when did we meet? Maybe 18 months ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Back then, you were afraid to sit at any table at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
really.
today,
To be honest, you had your doubts about it, and when cards came and it was time for bet. But look where you are today compared to where you were then, and the journey that you've been on, the ups and downs, and it takes a lot, doesn't it?
yeah. Well, today, as a coincidence, I've got all my old hands are all recorded in this poker tracker going back to January 2015, and I was looking at some of the things where when I didn't know any better, I'd think, oh, this is bad luck that I'm getting and stuff. And I went over the hands today from that time ago, and I couldn't believe the stupidity of what I was doing. And at the time I was putting it down to bad luck. So I've got no doubt in another year's time I'll be looking at things that I do now and thinking, God, that was stupid. But at the time, bad luck is an easy fallback in poker, and it's often difficult to tell or convince someone whether it's more to do with their decision making rather than some lucky thing. Now, I'd like to play this hand if I get a chance.
Okay, let's see what you do with it. Let's see what you're facing. Oh, you're first. So what did you raise it to?
60 cents.
So you went.
It's 10 cent, 20 cent game. It's not 25 for some reason.
So you went 3 times the big blind.
Yeah.
Got an insta call from the left.
This is quite a good result for me because I can represent the ace.
Yes, unless he has an ace, he goes away.
Now he's telling me that he has got the ace, so I'm going to try one more time.
Yeah, the size of that bet is the determination, in my opinion. A lot of times, if you're going to barrel like that, and you feel like he's just taking one more card off to see if he can get there or something, you've got to make it a big enough bet. If you entice him to stay, he may just stay and pick up that pot from you if you make it too small.
Yeah.
So bet sizing has changed in your mind over the past year. And remember, we talked about you going on that losing streak earlier this month. You didn't tell us, or you did say that you read The Course, which is a book that I recommended to you from Ed Miller, which is a great book. And then you said you watched some more videos. But what was it that you either got out of the book, or you got from the lingo over at Poker School Online, or you got from somewhere that really started to like open your eyes to something. What was it exactly, or was it just a bunch of different general things?
Well, the main thing was to believe people more unless they've provided a reason not to, um, and especially that applies on later streets like the Turn and the River. On the flops, people will splash about because they're trying to find out where they are, and what the other person's made of. But by the time it gets to the Turn and the River, the majority of smaller stakes players start to play more honestly and define exactly what they've got. And if you've got something like top pair and you think you're doing okay, you get to the turn and suddenly you get a huge check raise. Up until I read the Ed Miller book, I was thinking, "Oh, this guy's full of it," and I'd call him down, and he'd have at least two pair. Whereas now, I think more about exactly what he's representing. And obviously, if he's like this guy that's just come in, Neketa at the top, has got a donkey sign next to him, and
Right.
obviously, I would treat big bets from him differently than I would someone like the Rock that's next to him, Mikhail Sam. Um, so it's made me think more about that. The only thing about the Ed Miller book was the recommended hands that he recommends to start off with. Um, I think I loosened up too much because of them. Like he recommends playing all pocket pairs from under the gun, but I've found
For
that
a
if I
raise.
play,
For a raise.
yeah, yeah, I find that if I play say twos up till fives. Under the gun, it can get me in trouble. I've even been beaten set over set at times. So I've tightened up so that I play say sixes and above, and suited aces. If it was under the gun, I would be raising say ace eight and above. So I mean, he says in the book that they're just guidelines, and you can adjust them, but it's mainly the percentages that you should focus on when you're raising. Um, the hands are they can be adjusted a bit. There's a bit of freedom with what hands you use.
Okay. As for the set over set with playing the low pairs, don't ever worry about set over set. It's very rare. It's going to happen, but you're going to lose your money on set over set. But be grateful if you got a pair and you get flop a set. It's just unnatural sometimes for the other person to have a bigger set. But listen, don't fret that. If you set mine or if you play the small pairs, if it's threes and you hit the set, just continue on. If someone happens to get a bigger set than you, that so be it. At these levels, it's very rare that it's going to happen. You're going to get it more than you get it sent to you. In other words, you're going to flop a set and win more times than you're going to flop a set and get set over set. So in the long run, you're going to win more money doing it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying about tightening up. He gives you a philosophy on what you're going to play at the tables, and he's saying this is what you can adjust it to whatever you feel more comfortable with. And I think that's what you're saying is
Yeah,
you
definitely. Yeah.
you eliminated if you had Flopzilla out or something like that, you eliminated a number of hands that he would include, but that's playing more nittier or tighter, and that can prove to be a better or a blessing to you playing that way because you have more control of what you're doing. You're not leaking money off. You
Yeah, and
see,
also it depends on the table. I mean, if it was a very tight table, then I might play those lower pairs. It just depends.
yeah, he. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. He has better post flop play, intuition, and experience that can get him out of trouble when he plays the twos or when he plays the 7-9 suited and things like that. Whereas you and other people that are down to micro limits don't have that experience with the post flop,
Yeah.
being on the turn in the river, and therefore you're at a disadvantage playing some of the cards that he does as well.
Yeah, we need to play the cards that give us the easiest possible decisions afterwards, um, rather than things that can get us in tricky spots if we can help it.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, what's the best hand you've had so far? Queen Jack suited?
That's it. Yeah, the only one that I've been able to play.
That's the only hand that you've had that I haven't disagreed with any of your folds. I can't see getting involved in any situation. Whether you've been in a blind or if you've just been in the hand. There's just nothing that I could see that you needed to do other than just sit back but at least with the Queen Jack, you were first in, and then you barreled, and then I thought for a second you weren't going to barrel that second time because he stayed, and you gave him credit for the ace, but you went ahead and put that. I don't know if it was 2/3 or 3/4 bet on the turn, and he went away. But that's
it's risky with him because. I mean, one thing I have to learn as well is don't become obsessed with HUD stats. Just use them as like one prop, as a series of things, because I could look at his HUD stats and see, he only folds to a flop C-bet 40%, only to a turn C-bet 36, and then it starts to dissuade me from doing the extra barrel. So I mustn't become married to the stats.
That's a very good philosophy. And let me tell you something else about those stats. You've got them marked as a fish. When I raise pre-flop and a fish calls me, not re-raises me, I put them on ace rag a lot of different times because they cannot. They seem like they cannot throw an ace away no matter how bad the kicker is. So when he calls you pre-flop and then an ace comes and then you bet and he calls, I'm thinking just like you were thinking that he's got an ace rag here. He didn't get two pair, but he's probably got that ace. I was surprised when you fired on the turn that he went away, just based on the numbers that I see there, and you got him categorized as a fish, and that ace flopped, and the board wasn't really scary other than the ace. There was nothing for him to get afraid of there. He must have had a mid pair, but even with a mid pair, people with second pair, third pair will stay to the end if they're a fish. So maybe he didn't even have a pair. I don't know, but maybe he had just like a suited connector or something. Who knows? But
yeah, I can't remember for sure, but I think it might have been a possible flush draw.
I don't remember the flush being there. I don't remember seeing the flush being appeared.
Because I did think like you, I did think that he had the ace, and I thought I was 50-50 about the turn C bet, but
yeah. Now this 5-7 that you got here, have you noticed now that you've played this whole year that hands like this and hands like 4-3 and 5-4 and 8-7, when they hit, they really can take a big. I mean, you shouldn't pay a lot to play with them, but when they do hit, they really can take somebody down that has top pair.
I've definitely found it if they're suited. I know that suited only adds a few percent to it, but for me, 7-5 suited and is something that I try and play, but 7-5 offsuit is something I wouldn't. Because another thing that in the Ed Miller book he said, okay, yes, 3% is not a lot.
How much did he raise it?
He's gone 60 cents.
And what is he?
So he's a donkey. Okay. So I'm going to make it 190 because I'm in the small blind. So I need to. Right. There's no point in calling, so I'll be calling out of position.
Right. And it says when you're out of position, you want to bet more than you normally would raise, but then you would want to add a little bit more to it because you're out of position. That's very good. We'll see if he wants to just engage you or not. He may want to peel some cards off for just a call here. And of course he can wake up with if he puts all his chips in the pot, then he maybe woke up with something good.
Yeah.
I mean, donkeys he folded. That was very good on your part. They're capable of getting good cards too. They just don't know how to play them usually. So you don't usually see the mistakes that you do when they got the crap.
Yeah, but like I was saying with the Ed Miller thing, yes, it's only 3% difference between suited and unsuited. But he said, what percentage do you think the Las Vegas casinos were built on? It's those small percentages that can make a big difference. So maybe if I had more experience, I would play offsuit.
Right. Well, the situation, you might be in a late position with a lot of callers. You might be able to sneak in for it. Okay. How much did he make it?
He's just min raised to 40, so I'm going to go to 120.
Okay. The one thing I would tell you when somebody does that min raise is, especially if you don't have a read on them, look at the stats and everything. and see what kind of a player they are. There are some people that will do that min raise with a big hand trying to trap with it. Now you've got, like, I think about 50-50 chance here of him folding because the 3 hearts are out there and the king's out there. And I think that it's always good when there's 3 and your head's up, 3 to a suit or 4 to a suit. You go ahead. If you can fire first, fire first. Most of the time the person's going to go away. Just take the initiative, because if you check, they're going to take it right from you.
One of the poker school videos I was watching the other day was discussing different theorems in poker, and whether they're still of any use. And some of the theorems are like tongue-in-cheek ones that the 2+2 forums have put out. But one of the ones that stuck in my mind was called the Clarkmeister theorem, which is that if your head's up on the river and there's 4 suited cards on the board, you're first to act, bet.
That's right.
And I wouldn't have thought of that myself. Usually I'll give up.
Exactly.
I'll give that a thought.
That's what we were just saying, or I was just saying just a couple of minutes ago. So how much stack did you sit down with?
$20.
And what are you at now?
$23.51.
All right. Oh, Xander's in here from Scotland today. How you doing, Xander? Welcome to the stream. This is Leon from. Where are you at in the UK? Nigel was on here a little while ago, and he's from the UK too.
I'm from Essex.
Essex, and I don't know exactly where Nigel is.
As I say, Essex is just on the outside of London.
Yes. It's west of London, right? Is it west?
No, it's east of London. Southeast.
Well, name some of the cities that are in Essex. I mean, in the county, in the Essex. Is it
Colchester, one of the oldest towns?
Cambridge is not in Essex, is it?
No, that's not too far away.
That's north. Of London.
Yeah, just a little bit. Now this one he's raised on the button. I've got 3-2 and it's suited, so I'm just going to call for the 37 cents. All I've got is a gut shot, so I'm going to check to him because he was the raiser. I'm not really bothered about this hand at this point.
Yeah, I would have probably tossed it. He could, because you had a bull on him anyhow. I don't know if that meant he's a strong player, but.
Yeah,
I might not have got involved because you were out of position and there really wasn't any money in the pot for me to put money in. So that might have been a tiny little leak. But I think calling there is okay in some situations if you think you can pull something off. Nigel is from Nottinghamshire.
Oh, my girlfriend was from there.
Your girlfriend's from there. Well, don't tell Nigel. Nigel will tell us in a second how many days before he goes to the WSO or goes to Vegas. He's on his way to Vegas, and he'll tell us how many days, how many hours before he gets on the plane. I'm sure he'll put it in the chat here pretty soon. I hope things are going well for Zekel 1980, which is Xander from Scotland. I hope you've been watching some of the videos we've been putting up. And yesterday was a classic. We had Fair Poker Coaching site. Mel was in, and he was training with Posse 1972 for 90 minutes, and it was extraordinarily good. I don't know if you got to see that one yet, Leon.
No, I didn't. It's 5 o'clock my time is a difficult time for me to get on.
Yeah, well, the videos there always for the next day, so that's the good
part.
I'm
working through all the videos. Yeah,
I put it up. In fact, Soft Top says he's from Mansfield. What I did today was I created a category for Ryan to put his videos straight into also, so he can start a collection of videos. 21 days till Nigel gets to Las Vegas. Watch out, Las Vegas. And Xander says he's been watching. He'll catch up on the rest later on. Yeah, but do you ever play 2 tables or you only play 1?
I always normally play 2 and occasionally I play 4.
Okay. So what you found out is that when you play multiple tables like that, it's okay to get these crappy cards that you can quickly put the fold button on and get away from. But don't do it when you have position. That's the one fallacy I see people doing. Is like you had pretty good position here, and you, not that your cards were sweet or anything like that, but depends on who's to your left. There could have been 3 fishes. You got 2 fishes there. That when you're in the cutoff seat, you might want to steal some blinds every now and then. Okay. And in this particular case, it would have worked out pretty damn good. But
actually, this guy Elite is going to be upgraded from fish to ball because he's got quite decent stats, over 200 hands.
Okay, but don't always look at your card and say, but if you've got position now, if you're in the middle, you're not going to play 8-4. You're not going to try to steal from the middle or something. That's fine. But when you're by that button, wait to see the action before you. There might be an opportunity to steal. Most of these players that I've been reading in books say that when you're on the button, it's between 70 and 80% of the times you're going to steal that blind money, and when you're in the cutoff seat, it's going to drop down a little bit because you got another player between you. The button likes to defend his position, so that's going to drop down, but it's still over 50%. So keep in mind. People are looking at your stats too. And when you don't try to steal, and when you don't if you give up on hands all the time, it's going to make your stats look a little bit nitty, and you might not get the action you want when you make a play.
Sure.
Yeah, we always forget about that. We're always tracking down everybody else, but we're forgetting about what image do they have of me or you.
Yeah. This guy up here, Niketa, last night I managed to stack him. I had full house, and he had the ace high flush.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't even hesitate there with the queen jack offsuit. You didn't even hesitate. You just got rid of that. You were first in.
It's Hawaii.
I know it's Hawaii, but you had 1, 2, 3, 4 folds in front of you, and so you were in middle position. And you decided to give it up, but you couldn't do that fast a year ago. Is what my point was.
Sure, yeah, I'm scarred for this hand because of your Hawaii. I can't ever play it.
And how often does it win?
Very rarely.
It doesn't really do good, does it? Ezekiel's asking, what stat software do you guys recommend? So I think he's asking, do you Poker Tracker or Hold'em Manager? What is he asking there?
Well, I've only ever used Poker Tracker 4.
Okay.
And a couple of little ones. I used Magic Hold'em, which is an odds calculator, but nothing's really as good and as wide-reaching as Poker Tracker 4. And not only do you get the HUD, you also get the database, so you can review every hand. You can filter your own stats any way you want. Really, it's I wouldn't really be able to want to play without it.
Got it. How often do you bluff or semi-bluff, or have you changed in the last 60 days on the percentages? In other words, were you doing it every now and then, and now you're doing it more, or you're doing it less? What do you think?
I semi-bluff the flop fairly often with the continuation bit.
Okay.
I don't really bluff pre-flop. I try and only go in for hands that have got some sort of chance.
Okay.
I know I'll sometimes bluff if my hand, if I've got blockers after the flop. So if I think the other person might have a strong hand, but I say I've got ace king and the ace king doesn't hit, but obviously my ace and my king block the combinations of aces and kings that he might have, that would be something that I'd consider bluffing on more than if I just had some random hand. So if I've got a a draw, like a backdoor draw, even that could be something worth bluffing. Three bet sort of like I did earlier with like the ace jack was a sort of semi bluff, because if he 4-bet me, I was going to go away.
Well, I don't know if he 4-bet, depending on how much he 4-bet you for. You guys were doing pretty minimum there. You might have seen a flop with him, being that he was a real donkey up there. If he would have 4-bet you all in, yes, I think your first inclination with ace jack is to fold it, yes. But I don't know about if you're still down in the dollar something range. I can't remember how much it got up to in that pot.
I think he went 60 and I went 180.
Yeah, and then he went.
And then he folded.
He folded, yeah. So if he would have, you went at 180, he would have went 410, 420. It would have been another 3 something for you to call. I can't imagine me folding that to the donkey too often, unless the stat said that he doesn't
I've
ever
taken him.
4-bet.
Taken him off of donkey now.
Huh?
He's not a donkey anymore. He's been promoted.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I only had a few hands on him, so I try and make like a quick judgment after about 10 hands. But obviously, that's not, in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. So
no, that's nothing. No.
I have to. I just use my first impression, and then I update it as it carries on.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's good to put a label on it quite quick, because if they were like a fish and they leave the table, then next time I come back on, if there's a list of tables that are open, it shows you the icons that I've put next to each person's name, so I can quickly see, oh, that table's got 4 fish on it. This table's full of sharks.
And what did you used to do for a living?
Policeman.
You were a policeman. We have another retired policeman in here, Rob Gagg. I don't know if you know, if you've watched some of the videos he's on. Did you know that he was a retired policeman?
Oh yes, I did. Yeah. It's always nice to see how well he's doing.
Good. He's been having his troubles over at True Poker. I'm sure he's let people know about it. True Poker, just like Poker Stars, is a bigger arena, and it can cause some problems. Even Posse 1972 was saying on his stream yesterday that he was having some difficulties, and I've said it myself. And what I've found is, compared to full flush, the 10-cent 25 plays like the 25.50 at full flush. So, and when you play the 10-cent 25, for instance, if you do a pot size bet pre-flop, it's not enough in that game, especially if you're playing a full table. The 6 player might be a little different, but you need to make it a completed bet more than just a. So if it's 10-cent 25 and a pot size bet would normally be 60 at full flush, I would go over there with 75 or $1, because these people are willing to spend that money. And so you need to charge them for the hands that you're going to get beat. You need to be charging them more for the ones you're not in. What do you have here? All callers?
Yeah, so I'd if there was raises, I'd throw it away, but it's going to be, depending on what this guy does, but it's going to be 10 cents.
He raised the last hand, and now he's on the button. I would think that if he's going to try something, he would make this $1.25.
I'm just going to limp along because it's 10 cents into a 80 cents pot.
What do you think if you made that $1 just then out of position, like you had a really big hand? What do you think the 20-cent bettors would have done if you had made it $1 or $1.25?
Someone like Jagdev, I think is likely to be a bit sticky, and I'd have trouble getting rid of him. Someone who, like Zorik, who I think is a thinking player, would probably let it go.
Well, I think that what you need to do some days when you're down here playing these and you get that perfect storm situation like you just had, I think you need to fire that in there and just see what happens when you have nobody really putting a big bet out there and you're out of position and you put that big bet and they give you credit for a big hand. I guarantee you pick up, most of the time you pick up that 70 cents that's laying on the table.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I used to play at True Poker for a while, and also There's a
ACR.
sorry.
ACR and blackjack are the same.
All right. There's a guy on one of the training sites, Juices Cracked, who has just started a series where he opened up an account on ACR and seeing how far he can get. And his first impressions were that there's a lot of regulars on those tables. It's hard, and the site. I'm raising to 60 here. The site encourages grinders because of the beast jackpot. So it's one of the rare sites where a lot of sites are turning away grinders in favour of recreational players. Over there, they seem to encourage them.
Now, how much are you betting and why?
I'm betting $1.05 with my draw. Because there's 2 9s out there, if he folds, I'm fine with it. If he doesn't, I've got a chance to get a good hand. He does fold, so if it wasn't 2 9s, I would be more confident of the hand. But when the ball pairs like that, I would be okay with folds.
Okay, now you were first in and you were in a hijack. Any thought at all of raising there? Not at all.
No.
Okay.
No.
That would
I would
be,
if ace 10 is my limit.
So ace 10 would, okay, that's what I was going to ask you next, was what would it have taken for you to try that?
Ace 10 in that position, I would have.
How much did he bet there?
57 cents.
And you called it.
Yeah, this is a sort of hand where if I can get 2 or 3 in the pot, I think it's an okay hand to call along.
So your call here is to try to induce more callers. That's what I always want to know what your intentions are of the bet.
Yeah, I would see that's rubbish. That 94 cents that he's just done. That's not going to deter anybody. So
that's a pretty sweet flop.
Yeah.
But how much are you going to have to pay to see, or are you going to bet into him? Are you going to donk it into him?
No, what I would normally do in this spot is just check and call the first bet. Yeah.
Unless he goes big.
Yeah.
How big?
If he goes pot, I'd probably fold.
Pot, you would fold. That's $2 and something. Okay.
Well, now everybody has checked.
Right. Yep.
And I've picked up a pair, so now I'm going to fire.
You still have an open in the draw. So any 3, any 8. 6s you can't really count because that would give somebody else probably a straight. Any 7 and any fold, you're going to win.
See, I think of that as a semi-bluff because obviously there's a lot better hands out there than what I had. Because I'm in quite an early position and I feel uneasy about this kind of hand. But obviously, this is rubbish 3-bet again. If I hit the set, then obviously
he'd make it $1.
Yeah.
That's just a min raise anyhow. This is one like Ryan had yesterday. He checked with the intentions of check raising with it.
Did you see how fast he called?
Yes.
So I'm gone.
It's a good indicator. Jonathan Little's book I was just reading this morning, Strategies to Beat Small Stakes Cash Games.
That's what he 3-bet with 2 jack.
And what did that guy win with? Queen Jack? Yeah,
he got the flush.
Oh, he made a flush.
Yeah. That guy 3-bet with Jack 2. That's why this site is a good site. Normally I wouldn't play this, but he made a very small raise.
Now you got position, or he's still got position.
He's still got position.
So what do you do to tell him Do you tell him anything?
He's probably still got a vendetta against me from last night.
I like it. No, I like the play there. I like the play when you're out of position. That check raise works really good, especially when you got a semi bluff. You got a redraw for the straight. You got a backdoor nut flush draw. So even if he does call you, you still have ammunition. I don't like to do it when you don't have anything.
Sure.
It's total bluff. I think at these micro limits, it doesn't pay to do it. But when you have some options, it works out pretty good. For those of you that are in the stream today that are live with us, and also those that aren't, you can email me at alspath@alspath.com. Let me know what you thought about Fair Poker Coaching, who was given a 90-minute presentation yesterday and number 195 on the video list. So you raised it. You got top pair, top kick.
No, this Mikhail Sam raised it. I just called.
Right.
And now I'm going to be betting because
And you bet the pot.
A good hand. 3/4.
3/4, and you took it down. Very nice. So I can notice a big difference in your play. Big difference. The confidence level is just completely different than in prior meetings and prior sessions. I mean, you just know what you're doing, and you've got a game plan, and you're sticking to the game plan, and I think that's really important. You may not win as much as some of the looser players and some of the people that take more chances, the little gamblers that are out there, a little larceny that they have in their makeup, but that's okay. Slow and steady wins the race, and you'll do that later on as you get more proficient and it becomes easier and easier. And I think you'd have to admit it's becoming a lot easier than it was before.
Yeah, well, your videos above everything else. Your videos are the videos that have helped me the most. And I think if anybody sat and watched each one and made notes and rewatched them and took it seriously, they would see a vast improvement, and it's all for free.
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, we'll take donations when they want to do them, and we appreciate them. In fact, I received one from you last month, and I thank you very much for yours. And it's been great to present and do all that stuff for free, and we're going to continue to do all that. But I really do appreciate when someone takes the time to put a donation in. So thank you. I appreciate that. I want to acknowledge that on the video today. So now you got a button attacking you.
Yes.
Well, how much did he make it? How much did he make it?
He's made it 60 cents, and he's a tight player.
How do you just from his stats?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Sometimes I really like that hand. But
let me help you here. If there's doubt means don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Anytime you say to yourself, "I got a doubt. I don't know if I," just don't. Wait for another hand. Just don't. Right now, it's not. If you've got the after skills, the after flop skills, and you feel like you can take it away from later on, that's a different story. But right now, where you're at in your game and everything, if there's doubt, just don't do it. It's okay.
Some of the hands that I've worked on getting rid of, especially from early position, are King Jack and King 10. I think I was losing a lot of money playing those hands, and I'd play King Jack in late position if I was the opener, but I would usually fold it if someone opened before me. I just don't think that King Jack and King 10 are that good. I think they're dangerous.
They're very troublesome hands, as well as Ace 10 is and Ace 9 that people get to play and everything. So if you don't have the right perfect storm, in other words, the right position or against the right players, then maybe it's best not to play them on occasion and just take take the other hands that have been dealt to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. You watched me a couple of weeks. I did a bunch of tournaments. I did a bunch of ACR single table 9 player sit and goes for $15 or $16.50. I don't know if you caught up with those videos yet or not.
I don't really watch the sit and go videos. I just stick with cash.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You're a cash player now, and you're not a tournament player, but there's still things that come up during a session, which may be a tournament, that could be advantageous for you to be listening to. You know,
Okay.
so you might want to check them out. Now, the ones that are the jackpot ones, probably not, because those are a little short table type things. But some of the 9-player tables, you might find interesting on marking players and little edges that you might get from those.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to convert you to a tournament player by any means, but there are also lessons contained in there.
No, I mean I've given tournaments a good go a couple of times where I just only played tournaments for a few months, which obviously isn't a long time at all. But the sort of feel that I got from it was that um, they can be exciting, but consistent money is very hard to get from them. Whereas cash, if you become a reasonable cash player, you can get small and steady amounts of money, sort of like regular. Um, but you'd better be used to losing if you play tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to learn to be a good loser. And the downswings in tournaments are quite brutal.
Now, every now and then I see that your picture just like it's like it condenses and comes back. It's fine. It's taping right, but it seems like it like changes, uh, like a different page or something like that. Do you ever notice that on the board? Does yours stay constantly? The picture never changes.
No, mine stays okay.
It'll be
Uh,
interesting. The next time it does it, I'm gonna see if it picks it up on the stream as well. And if it does, I'll ask you when you watch the stream back if you see what we're seeing. It's just
occasionally I get a little pop up on the bottom right, which is trying to get me to log into Magic Hold'em. Maybe when that comes up, it might do it, but for my
yeah.
screen, it doesn't do anything.
Next time you get a pop up, let me know. I want to see what happened. I'm just curious to see how different systems work.
Okay,
Uh oh.
yeah, I'll be trying to play this.
So, will you be calling a raise? Will you be re-raising with it? What will you be doing?
I would probably call it trying to set mine.
Okay.
Bearing in mind it'd be hard. It's harder after the flop, but it's still high enough that some flops um, will be good, even if I miss the 8. That's not that good.
Why not when someone's on the button and you know that they're going to try to steal? Why not 3-bet them with those 8s?
Yeah, I should do really. I'm tempted to float just because of our.
Okay.
Let's do that. So now it's unlikely. It's less likely that he's got a jack.
That's why you should bet into him. Because if he's less likely to have a jack and not represented, he'll take a free card here. So if you bet into him, he may go away. How much is that?
90 cents.
Okay. What are you putting him on? Ace King, Ace Jack? I mean, Ace
I
Queen?
reckon he probably has got the 9.
You think so? You think he'll stay if you raised him?
I think he would. Yeah. Just I think he's a calling station as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he likes the 9. And I think
I think your
don't know if
best
he'll go
advantage
away.
there was to bet out on a turn because you're betting a 1-bet. You're not raising him or anything. You're just putting a bet into him. And if he's got it, he's going to stay and let you know. And if he calls or if he comes over the top, and if he doesn't, he's going to get out of your way real quick. So
Okay. Yeah.
I think you missed an opportunity betting out on a turn.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. I do get. I think if there's a lot of things written about how it's bad to donk bet into someone, and I also know there's times that it's okay to do that, and I get mixed up. You know, when does it look? When is it a good thing to do, and when should you stay away from it? That sort of thing.
It's always good to do when you think your opponent didn't hit the board, and then the board pairs, and it can't really help them. Then it's really advantageous for you to take charge.
Yeah. I would have, although it's King 10 and I said how much I dislike it now, in the position I was in, I would have opened with it. But to a raise under the gun, no.
Okay.
And it turned out good because of this guy.
And that's the jackass with Jack 2, right?
No, that other guy left.
Oh, he left.
Once he had the Jack 2, he lost all his money on that and left.
Oh, okay.
This guy could become the new donkey. Russia. Now I just got a pop-up, so has that affected your screen?
Yes, it just did. Yeah, it was like a wrinkle that goes through, and it just like, it's hard to describe. It's almost like a shutter, like a camera shutter closing and then opening.
I think I just got rid of it, so it won't. I don't think it'll come up anymore.
Okay, we'll see. It's no bother. Just maybe wake up Rob. So, you got a run of cards there. A couple of times you got to play, and, you did okay with them and stuff like that. Sometimes you just don't get anything, and then all of a sudden you got like the queens, and you got a couple of hands you were able to play. You haven't had your share by no means in this session. You've probably not underperformed, but you probably overperformed and under-received cards. In other words, you've made the best out of what you've been given you.
Yeah, I mean, like you say in some of the videos, it only takes like one or two hands to make or break the whole thing.
Yeah, I also, if you watch some of the tournaments that I'm in, especially those $5 to $16, those are the ones you want to go look at. The 9-player sit and goes that I've been doing, and see what happens when I take a big hit early and I lose half my stack or something. And one of the things I try to impress upon everybody is the mental aspect of it, not to go on tilt and how to respond to it, and not keep talking about what just happened, but look to the future and get back into the game. And a lot of time,
the best way that I've managed to handle going on tilt, because it has been a problem for me in the past. I now play for 1 hour sessions, unless if I double up before the end of the hour, I stop, and if I lose my stack before the end of the hour, I stop, and if I get to the hour, I stop anyway, and then I'll come back for another session in a couple of hours later or something.
You've got that luxury. You got that luxury of being at home. You've got that luxury that a lot of people don't. That's like when you go to a casino. If you like, last week I went to Atlantic City overnight, and I was playing a 2-5 game there, and some of the players that were at the 2-5 table had driven in, a couple hundred miles, and they don't have the luxury of just going back to their room and just sleeping. They have a limited amount of time, and they're just going to play it and play it and play it.
Sure.
And sometimes that puts them at a big disadvantage because they're too eager to do things, and they play way out of control.
I've read a few books about dealing with the mental aspect and tilt and things, because before I read the books, if I started to go on tilt, I could blow 5 or 6 stacks in a session. Right. And I had to get a grip of it, otherwise it'd be you couldn't. I couldn't keep it up being like that. So. I start thinking, everybody's bluffing, everybody's telling lies, and obviously that happens a lot less, especially at the lower limits. There's a lot less bluffing goes on than than you might think.
There's also when you first started out, and Peter is a good example of that over in Australia. The monsters under the bed. You thought everybody had the nuts no matter what they bet.
Yeah,
It's very rare that people have the nuts.
yeah. I'd sometimes do that exercise. You said where you deal out 10 hands of cards
Face
and
up.
take notes of just how many are any good.
Yep.
You're lucky to get one.
Do a full table, 10 players, and do them face up, and do it 5, 10 times, and see how many hands are playable, and you'll see how bad it is. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just go around the table there with the face up and say, okay, he folds, he folds, he folds. He would call or he would raise, blah, blah, and see who's there. And then I'd do a flop with a burn card, everything else, and see how often people hit. And it's just amazing. And then you can do that three-handed. You can do that heads up as well, and just see how heads up why you should attack your opponent, because the cards are literally terrible.
Yeah.
Whoever puts the pressure on wins.
The thing with playing online is that because you see so many hands, you can develop this sort of the idea that no matter what you do, someone's always got something better than you, because it's happened maybe a few times, but based on the amount of hands that you've seen, it's not statistically relevant. But in your mind at the time, you think, there's some sort of fix going on, or something like that.
Is that a call from that one guy?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got ace queen, right?
Yeah. And it was only he only raised it to 45 cents in the first place. So, and now I'll be playing against the donkey.
If he.
I think that's quite a bad.
Well, our
flop.
screen froze here for a second. Tell me what's happening.
The flop is Jack 6-10.
Okay, and did you call his bet or re-raise?
I squeezed him, so now he's checked.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna bet. And we'll see what he does.
What did you do? Tell us, because you're frozen.
Oh, I bet 3/4 and he called.
Okay.
And now he's checking on the turn.
Okay.
I
saw the four.
He's only down to $5.49, so I'm tempted to just stick it in.
Go ahead.
He's got the same hand as me.
Does he?
He had the same hand as me.
He called you instantly. We didn't see it. Well, we will see it, but it's there. And the king come on the end for the straight. Wow. You got lucky with the king and unlucky that he had the same thing. But he had a diamond. He had a free roll, though. He had a diamond draw.
Yeah.
So he had a free roll on the end against you, it turns out, because he couldn't have lost.
That's that thing you were saying, that yes, he's a donkey, but he's still going to get good hands sometimes.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that.
So we're frozen again. I don't know. Maybe this is a good time. We've been doing this for a little over an hour and everything, but I don't want to ruin the video because it was a good capture and everything else. But your screen is completely frozen. So I'm going to say thank you for everybody that coming in. I'm going to stay on the line here with Leon, but I thank you. I'm going to end the stream, and I appreciate it very, very much. You all take care and look for us up on YouTube. You can check out Al Spath or Positive Poker Insiders to find all of our videos that are on our playlist. And the Sunday conversation this week is with Jim McManus. He wrote Positively Fifth Street. He's written about Cowboys Full. He's written all kinds of books. He'll be a great interview. And then the following week, we got Ashley Adams, who is an author, a writer, a player, a coach, everything. And he's super too. So Leon, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. So hang on the line, and I'll end this broadcast. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.